Putting yourself in the middle of nowhere is often the top priority when you're out overlanding, backpacking, or doing most other outdoor activities. Unfortunately, that comes with a risk, and oftentimes we are left with no way to contact loved ones or get emergency services if needed. With the Zoleo device, you're able to explore in the most remote places while still having peace of mind in case of an emergency. Before I begin here, I just want to do a little bit of a disclaimer. With this Zoleo device, I found it on my own, I paid for it in full, and I genuinely enjoy this device. I was not reached out to by anybody from Zoleo. I'm just kind of doing this video on my own because I really enjoy this product. And so let's dive into what the Zoleo device actually is. So the reason I found this device in the first place is about 6 months ago, I went on a trip with my Subaru, and it was my first week-long solo trip. And I wanted a device that I was able to communicate with friends and family back home, and also have them see where I'm at, so they could at least see that I'm moving around and alive, and also be able to have an SOS feature in case I needed some help. So this device connects to your phone and it allows you to communicate with friends and family, send GPS coordinates and kind of let people know where you're at, and also reach emergency services through the SOS feature. Now, because usually we're in spaces without service, cell service I should say, it needs a satellite. And so it runs off the Iridium satellite network. And from what I've seen, it is very consistent. I've never had a drop in satellites that have resulted in me not being able to do what I needed to do. And so far I've had no issues with that network. So before I dive into anything else, I want to dive into the SOS feature. And I think that is very important when you're out and about, especially alone. And being able to reach emergency services is critical when you don't have service. So, like I said, there's an SOS button on here. It's right here. You just pop this and you hold this button for 3 seconds and it'll contact the Zoleo emergency response partner. Now, the emergency response partner is not necessarily emergency services. It is somebody that works with Zoleo and kind of figures out what your situation is. But from there, they will contact emergency services for you and get them to your location. This is because they want to filter through the ones that are false alarms and make sure they're not sending emergency services when emergency services are not needed at all. One of the interesting things, which I've actually haven't needed to use yet, but they offer 24/7 non-emergency medical device through this Zoleo device. You can use the app and contact somebody if you kind of need some medical advice, as long as it's not emergency. If it's emergency, that would be through the SOS feature to get help to you. But I thought that was fascinating, that if you're kind of in the middle of nowhere and you need just some medical advice, you can do so. Now, moving on to one of the second most important things to me, which is communication. Communication with this thing is very impressive, to say the least. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was actually very impressed with how I was able to communicate with people. So like I said, it uses satellites to send the text messages. Now, if you have cell service or you have Wi-Fi, it will revert to that first. So it won't send it through satellite, because you do only have a certain number of text messages you can send through satellite. So on my plan, I have 25 per month, and that is me sending one is one, somebody sending one back is also one. So you have 25 of those per month that you can use. And so that is kind of important to me, that it will switch to cell service when it's available. And along with that, if you do have to go over, if you're texting somebody, it's 50% per text, so it is not insanely high. So let's say you're over that month, you send 1 or 2 more messages, it's what, $1, $2 more. So it's not a huge deal if you go over. It's not like it just stops you from communicating, because that was important to me. I did not want a device that just did not let me communicate when I needed to. So that was a huge plus to me. Now, another thing that was cool about this thing, which I didn't know till I got it, but it is a bonus part of the subscription. It's an add-on, I should say. So for $6 a month, you can do Location Share Plus. And this allows you to send out your location to the people in the app. So how I have it set is every hour, it'll send out my location so people can see where I'm moving, where I'm going. And I think that is important, because a lot of the times, especially where I'm at, I can never really tell people where I'm gonna be at, because sometimes I don't even know where I'm gonna be at. I'm gonna kind of explore an area and I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be. So having that feature is really nice. It sends out just a constant, every hour. You can do every 2 hours. I think every 5 hours is another option, and just send it out to people that you think it's important for them to know. Now, one thing that I find very handy with this device is this little check-in feature. So there's a little check mark here, and you can push it and it will send an update to, again, your list of people in your app, and it'll just say, like, hey, they're checked in, they're good. So I will use this all the time on trips. So when I get to a camp spot and I'm like about set up and I'm confident this is my spot, push that mark to say, like, hey, this is where I'm settling down for the night. And then in the morning when I wake up, I'll push it again and be like, hey, I actually made it through the night. So that is a very very cool feature to me. It's just kind of easily let people know you don't have to send any text messages. You can do that an unlimited amount of times. So you can just press it whenever you need to. It sends them your location, and also it lets them know that you checked in. And so you manually did that. One other cool feature is you can actually get the weather through the satellites. And that is nothing new. It's not a new piece of technology, but I didn't know that was included. But I thought that was really cool to have. So it does use a text message. So if you have 25 messages in your plan per month, it will use one of those. But you can do that whenever you want. Just hit the weather button, it'll send you a weather document with the weather for the next 2 or 3 days. And I found that very helpful for when I'm not sure if a storm's coming in or not. I'll kind of just check the weather through that. And it gives pretty accurate data, so I haven't had any issue with that so far. The last little bit of information with this thing is I can do the 1 hour update, and I can leave that go for 3 to 4 days without needing a charge. After that, I will need a charge, but if you expand that, or maybe if you don't even use that every hour update, it will go for much longer than that. So you could do every 2 hours or even longer. It will definitely not use up as much battery, but 3 to 4 days is a good number for me because usually my trips are maybe 2 to 3 days. And when I'm gone for a week, I can just charge it once, maybe twice, and be perfectly fine for that trip. The device itself is also IP68 rated, so it is waterproof and dustproof, so you don't have to worry about leaving it out in the elements. Personally, when I'm backpacking, I actually have this on the outside of my backpack clipped to one of the clips I have. And again, it's been rained on. It always works every time. So to close this whole thing out, this device is extremely worth it to me. I'm gonna continue using this device. I pay $26 a month for both text messaging and the location share. So I have the basic plan, it's $20 a month, and then plus the $6 for the location share. This device is probably for you if you're watching this video, if you're into anything outdoors, whether it's overlanding, backpacking, hiking. It is just a great device to keep you safe and kind of give you a backup in case something does happen, while also allowing you to communicate with people when typically you cannot. So this device is very worth it to me. So yeah, I'm excited to see how long this device lasts and what the updates are in the future. If you think I missed anything, or if you have any questions, put a comment down below, let me know, and I'll get back to you on whatever comments or questions you may have. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.